From the center of the Americas to you, wherever you are, this is the end of days. Hello, exiles. Welcome home. I'm hoping you're enjoying this beautiful weather we're having. I hope it's nice by you. Not too many chemtrails in the air, not too much geoengineering going on of the atmosphere, and the sun's out and it's lovely. Here in the jungle, just inside the ski lodge, enjoying the air. Perfect air-conditioned temperature right now. Lovely. I wanted to talk about something that popped into my head just the other day, and I thought it fit in really nicely with where we're going. The subject is karma, and it's an Indian concept that means your deeds and your words have consequences. As you might imagine, these consequences reflect the relative good or badness of your deeds, and this might simply be understood best as cause and effect. The Indians are the ones responsible for our concept of reincarnation. And we see this really markedly in their religions, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. There's others. In the Christian New Testament, the concept of karma is perhaps best expressed in the notion that you reap what you sow. And Paul said, "Do not be deceived, God is not mocked, for you reap whatever you sow." If we sow the flesh, led by self-seeking desires, we will reap the only thing that flesh can produce, corruption. When we think about that, we know it's true. What is ever happening to us? We're constantly dying and regenerating ourselves. And ultimately, we go back to where flesh ever returns to what we started out as, dust. Those are my words. This is a principle of karma, and it's also known as the law of karma. It's edifying to know that at least some things amongst the largely nonsensical fancies we call religions are in correspondence. While many religious texts contain great wisdom, most religions, probably all of them, have been perverted to suit their masters. Most religions have started out with a grain of truth and have been transformed into a caricature of themselves. This is so they suit the beguiling of the gullible masses, to be sure. The Indians, who by all lights were at it first, philosophy, history, ethics, have impacted world religions, perhaps more than any other society. You can check out the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. These are great works. But all of this is especially true. This effect has been especially pronounced, I think, within Christianity. And it is said that Jesus spoke of reincarnation. And it's not a mistake that this has eluded the Bible entirely. At the Council of Nicaea back in 325 AD, and by the way, it's AD, not CE, the kooks decided what was in and what was out of the official Bible. Everything out is since considered apocrypha. Naturally, no talk of reincarnation passed muster, and that was 1700 years ago. To think the equivocation, obscuration, and outright lies began in earnest all the way back then. And as we've before noted, everything we've been taught in school, everything we've consumed via broadcasting for our entire lives has been bullshit, which is to say patent lies. The secret to becoming and being free is in jettisoning all our long-held assumptions. These assumptions have been rotely downloaded, as it were, via the lying media, the scholastic system that we were all a part of. Their main imperative has been not to inform, but rather to inculcate. And for us to uncover the knowledge of what actually is under operation here on planet Earth is the challenge. For us Christians, it's important to know that the misguiding of the faith goes back that far, some 1700 years. Back then, Christianity was, quite different before they got a hold of it, The early Christians knew all about reincarnation, and they were using plant medicines like mushrooms, for instance, to experience God. The wisest amongst the Romans sojourned to Eleusis in Greece, and this was at the times before and after Jesus. Many of the people then were not Christians even. Nonetheless, in Eleusis, they came face to face with eternity. They described the experience that they had there as the little death, or dying before you die, so that ever proceeding from this experience, the fear of death was never more present. They achieved this through hallucinogens, ergot, amongst other plants and fungi, presumably. And just a few years ago, a cat named Brian Mararuscu, I hope I got his name right, wrote a book entitled The Immortality Key. There's a link to it below. I read it a few years ago, and it's great. And it describes the early Christians and sort of the trips they took on their sojourn towards truth. This book goes into great detail about how early religion was informed, and namely through the use of these psychoactive plants, in order to have legit spiritual experiences. And it sort of makes the modern church appear somehow decrepit or otherwise wanting. In more modern times, they pushed the envelope even further. In the 1860s, Charles Darwin's tome On the Origin of Species, which the full title of it is The Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, for the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. It was considered the formation or the foundation of evolutionary biology, and Darwin's theory is an early example of the massive world-encompassing psyop that we're suddenly so familiar with. It certainly wasn't the first. Nearly a couple centuries earlier, Newton served up a doozy with his theory of gravity, which he admitted was pure bosh. And 100 or so years prior to that, the granddaddy of all Tommy rot, Nicky Copernicus, invented the, get this, heliocentric model of the universe.
Wow, the land of make-believe.
They have done a thorough job of fooling us and discrediting any notion we might have had that we live in a created world. And all of this, you see, has been in service to dispelling this possibility, the reality that we are created and, as such, are pieces of God. Because they hate God and they hate his creations. Look around and what do you see? This is not heaven, and it's not hell, though you'd be forgiven for mistaking it as such. In fact, this place is nothing but a confection created to suit our 3D corporality. And it all comes back to this. We are in the matrix. Have you figured it out yet? We seem to keep coming back until we figure it out. Apparently, there's been a lot to figure out. I feel like I've been here many times before, and I'm sure as hell that I don't want to come back again. Do you? Well, kiddies, I hope you get what you deserve, and I know you will. The karma commands it. Get your heart right with Jesus, because the time is drawing near to bend down and kiss your ass goodbye. Ready or not, these are the end of days. Where do we go from here? So much to talk about. God helps those who help themselves. So whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Be mindful, be helpful unto others, for there is salvation, and that salvation may be your own, and you not even know it. CB wanted me to mention, thanks for listening. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps.
Adios, and thanks for all the fish.